Hey, thanks for watching Slice of SciFi. I'm Noah Richmond.
And I'm Daren Gulsvik.
We are talking about Venom. This is Sony's latest spin-off of Spider-Man franchise, basically taking the character of Eddie Brock from the comic books, telling us the origin story of the symbiotic creature. Of course, they mix it up a little bit from the comic book origin where Spider-Man had a black suit that turned out to be a living creature. Instead, in this one, it's coming from outer space. Film opens up and there's an exploratory ship, and they have just delivered a whole crew of these symbiote organisms that just happen to be crawling all over this passing comet, and taking it for research at a laboratory.
Deep stuff.
And the ship crashes and one of the symbiotes gets loose, and the film starts from there. Pretty much right off the bat, you can kind of see what sort of story it is that we're talking about. Essentially, what's going on is Marvel has turned out to be a very valuable property. So now any company that managed to get the rights to anything Marvel is trying to go as far as they can to make the most of the rights that they have. So really, in the case of Sony, all they got the rights to was Spider-Man and the Spider-Man universe. And Spider-Man's really the hero they have the rights to, so they're saying, well, let's churn out movies now about the villains, since it's Marvel and we can market it. Now, granted, Venom in the comics is a bit of an anti-hero. He was sort of a villain, and then he became kind of an anti-hero. You could kind of argue making a Venom film, but truly it's a cash grab. And the real question we had going into it is it a cash grab that can justify its existence other than it being a cash grab? I mean, is there somebody that just loves what this is enough to go out and really make a heartfelt film about it?
Yeah, you know what? It is a cash grab. I mean, it's basically them looking at the properties, that they own rights to and saying, Marvel's making a lot of money now. Let's go ahead and see if we can make something of Venom. Because, Venom's a popular character. At least he was.
Yeah.
I don't know about now. I'm kind of far removed, but I just don't know. I mean, to be strong enough to be, an actual movie based on a character without Spider-Man, it seems really absurd to me.
Right.
But anyway, that's digressing. But the fact is, this feels like a cash grab. Sony is going forward, and it feels like they're not done. I mean, for future tense, of course. And I'm curious to see where the partnership with Marvel and Sony is now. I mean, I know that they did the one film and carried it over with the Avengers, but what does that mean for future rights with properties, with Spider-Man and said characters and whatnot?
So what I would have to say is this: it's a cash grab. There's no reason for it to exist, and it didn't win me over to feeling like there was a reason for it to exist. All that being said, while I would say that it's honestly, when you get right down to it, it's honestly kind of a bad movie, it's a fun watch. It's a fun bad film. It has kind of an old school superhero comic book camp quality about it. And
camp quality is not a bad thing, like you said. I mean, that's what carries it in some ways, I think, because this is one of these movies that feels disposable at some point, and certainly not one they could build a future with. But I mean, Tom Hardy does a serviceable job as Eddie Brock. I mean, honestly, in the beginning of the movie, I wasn't digging him. I mean, what the hell was this New York City type of accent? I mean, I know he's English, and you could hear it break through sometimes his accent, but. I mean, you could tell he was having fun with the role. I mean, there was a couple scenes that were just flat out. I was embarrassed for him, because, but you could tell he was having fun with it, and I think that's the most important thing, And I understand, the movie being PG-13. I actually think that actually hurts this movie in some ways, because they had to basically, dilute it a little bit to make it accessible to more, wider audience. So,
Right.
but I think, with Venom and the type of character that he is, requires lots of blood and gore and whatnot, and that's what
Right.
people are drawn to that. And I think, they had to like neuter it a little bit to get it to fit under the PG-13 rating. And so that's too bad, because I understand a lot of footage was left on the floor. So,
Right.
but I had fun with it too. I mean, it's like, I found myself thinking, no, this is pretty, there's some pretty big plot points and plot holes in the movie and whatnot that you could tell were edited out, but I still had fun. I was laughing. I mean, there were some genuine laughs in that movie.
Right.
And I think that's all you can ask for sometimes with these type of movies,
Yeah. Well, the other thing, I felt like, I thought the setup was a fairly decent comic book movie setup.
Right.
And then once the action began, it went all over the place tonally. Suddenly you're having crashing and cars chasing and explosions and flying glass, and it felt a little rushed, like
bad editing, man.
Yeah, just sort of thrown in your face, and it did lose a certain rhythm.
Well, but but also I find, not disregard the rhythm of the movie, but I felt some of the effects seemed, from one hand would be the CGI would be pretty nice, and then others, it was like really bad. I mean, it was weird. It was like this mixture of unfinished, sections. It felt like they were just, okay, we're done. They're not going to do any more work with it or something. It just felt, I don't know, incomplete in some places, but again, I'm not a huge fan of the Venom character.
Right.
I'm familiar with them, and I'm familiar with McFarlane, and of course the Secret Wars when Jim Shooter created it. So, but I mean, I don't have this deep love affair where I'm going to support him on my T-shirt and everything, But I mean, there is an audience out there for Venom, and I think they're going to love this movie if they are that big fan. I just don't know it's going to cater or appeal to the fan that's tied into the Marvel mythology that we have now with Marvel, And it kind of actually, it seems, kind of cheap and badly produced compared to the other movies, and so, but I don't know, man. Sony is just, like you said, it's a cash grab. I mean, it is what it is. It's another example of these movie companies who just want to whore themselves out for Marvel properties, I mean, who else is owning Marvel properties these days, It's what, 20th Century Fox, or not anymore, I guess, Disney. Right. So, but, yeah.
Yeah. So, in any case, it's hastily thrown together. It's kind of cheap. There's something just sort of poorly produced about it. But if you're willing to turn your brain off and just sort of go with what it is, it wouldn't be. It's not a bad Saturday night out at the movies. Yeah. With your buddies to just go laugh and not think too much about it, have a good time. It really could have been a lot worse. We were definitely expecting. Something more grating, and this at least had a fun quality to it.
I mean, laugh out loud.
Have to give it that.
I mean, laugh out loud moments I relish those anyway, and so even though they were far and few in between, there was still there were some still endearing moments. And
it's the same director that did Zombieland.
Right, which is actually really good.
Yeah.
I just one thing I was going to add is, though, like everyone knows with Marvel movies, you have to stay till the end because they have these, little vignettes at the end of the movies.
Yeah.
And so this one has one and a freaking advertisement for another movie, which was,
right.
It's an insult, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's no point staying all the way to the end with this one.
It's just a movie screener for another movie. But anyway, it's
right.
Of course you're willing to believe it's another extension of the Sony universe with Venom. I mean, we got Maximum Carnage next or whatever. But anyway, it is what it is. It's we should be glad we're getting these movies, I guess.
Okay. Anyway, I guess that's our thoughts on Venom. Not bad if you're looking for just a dumb, fun Saturday night out. But if you're looking for a really great superhero film, it's totally missable too. Mm-hmm. And thank you for watching Slice of SciFi.
See you.